Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time out to pop in here and listen to us. My name's Laura Lee Kenny, and we are here today at Money Mindset Mentors to talk to an amazing woman who has done some very unique business promotions. Um, I get to interview people that have done some really interesting and outstanding performances in their business, in their life. As you guys might know by now, I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I was actually afraid to ask for money. I've had to do a lot of work on myself for that. And money itself does not motivate me per se, but I know that in order to serve many people, we need to have a viable business. So if we don't have any sales, we don't have a business. And we get to listen to some people that have done some, they tell us how, where they've come from and what they do now to run their business. And I have the great privilege to have a lady by the name of Rosie Battista. And she's also with me here on Be Connected platform. And she has a very unique product that she helps people to market their business. I had not heard tell of it until just recently. Now, Rosie has done many other things, so we'll get to find out more about her and this amazing lady. Rosie, would you unmute and come in and say hello to our guests?
I would love to. Hello,
Awesome.
Laurie.
Welcome again. We had the
Thank you.
privilege.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. You have such a unique product that you do, a unique way of helping people advertise and educate their clients that I look forward to having my own product that you help me put together.
Yeah.
So, would you like to tell us a little bit about how you started? And I'm just going to mute myself so we make you a little bit bigger just for a few seconds.
Yeah.
And they get to
Sure.
talk to you directly. How's that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I started a while 15 years ago is when I started on this journey, and I was coaching and teaching women about self-love, and I had a book, and I had a cookbook, and I had a journal. And what I discovered was that people, my clients, were still asking me, Rosie, I wish you were on my shoulder to remind me of those things. So it was from that point that I said, how can I do this? And I thought of a card deck. Because if we think about a card deck, you can relate to it like as a kid, if you were studying grammar or multiplication table, then you would use flashcards for the repetition and the anchoring in and the learning. And so I created a card deck for my clients, and then I started to create card decks for other people. And then I created a course which helps creative entrepreneurs and leaders and thought leaders create what I call a transformational teaching tool because of the tremendous power for helping people take action that it offers. So that's pretty much my story of how I got here.
Oh, I just love it. I was used to cards, a card deck, um, for hmm.
Sitting around the kitchen table playing with the
Oh, yeah, well, those also, but I knew
Right.
about these card decks, and it's interesting, and I definitely have flashcards for the children when they were younger, and, it was interesting. Somebody had said to me, "I should have my own deck," and I said, "Well, I am spiritual, but I don't know enough about that to do a deck of cards." And
Mm,
I didn't realize about these, and it was really interesting how I ended up
yeah.
meeting you here.
Yeah.
I thought, "I don't know, but I think maybe she might have what I'm thinking about." I didn't
Yeah.
even know
And
that they existed.
yeah, well, see, that's so amazing to me because, when we have our own product or we have our own, business, we pretty much assume that everyone's gonna understand what we do. And I did
Mhm.
that for a really long time. I'm like, card decks. And then when people started to say to me, okay, well, okay, what's a card deck and why would I want one? I'm like, oh,
Mhm,
wait a minute. Everyone doesn't understand what it is. So I
mhm,
always go back to the basis of explaining what it is. I mean, we obviously know it's pieces of paper that have stuff on it,
mhm.
but you had just mentioned that, you automatically go to either tarot or an oracle deck,
Yeah,
spirituality. We think
yeah.
of cards in that way. But if we think of cards as a teaching tool, as an extension of like ourselves in a
Mhm,
person's pocket or hand, then we understand that we could take our wisdom, our system, our method, our process, whatever it is we need to teach, and then we can break it down into these small golden bite-sized pieces. Because I mean, Laura, like, who here isn't overwhelmed with like how many things they need to do in a day? Right? It's like, I don't have time to go, you have all these books, and I mean, we love books, but it's like, okay, I'll sit with that when I can read a whole chapter, or I'll
mhm.
sit down when I have a little time. Where with a card, you don't really need time. You just need to pull one card,
Yeah.
read it, and then you have an action step. So that in its
And that's
simplicity.
what's important with it, is to get
Perfect.
people to take action on it.
That's
Because
right.
as we have our to-do list, they're so big, we even have to do blocks of time to stay focused.
That's
But
right.
with your cards, it's one thing that they can do on that day and
Yeah.
implement it.
Exactly. So it just makes it, when you think about, you talk about money, you talk about an exchange of service. When um, we all start out with the intent to help people. That's really what we all want to do, right?
Mhm,
So when you actually know that you can make a difference with this simple tool, simple but also profound, then you're like, okay, I can, you step up to dig deep into your creativity because you're focused on the end result of what it's going to do for the client and not on
mhm,
your own
mhm.
stuff. So it really becomes not only a transformational product for the people who are using it, but also for yourself, as you have to, like, dig deep and simplify, which isn't always as easy as it sounds. I'll say, oh, a
Mhm.
card deck, it doesn't have that many words on it, which is the tricky part because you have to say a lot of things in a small, limited real estate space, right? So imagine you can't take all day to get the point across. And I find
Mhm,
people, I was just working with a group of people who had all written a book together. So then we took and we created a collaborative card deck, and they had such a challenge around getting their words to be only 22 words and 42 words to
mhm.
say something really profound. They really struggled with it after they had just written the book, and I'm like, wow. So it just, I guess, triggers another part of you that needs to be like crystal clear on what you do and how you help and what you want your client to do and what journey you want to take them on.
Oh, I bet. Like, it's like giving them hints of, what to do. And part of it, how to think. Because for me, my card deck will be about money, but it'll be very much about mindset
Mm,
and getting the
mhm.
right mindset and some
Yeah,
things to do in a run of a day to stay focused.
yeah. And I love that with the mindset of money because that's really all money is a mindset.
I
So,
didn't know that probably. I did 25 years as a certified financial planner, and I had no idea when I got into it. And we had a little tiny bit of money put away when I started. We had like $10,000 put away, and we had been paying on the house and stuff. But I thought, oh, we're so far behind. I need to catch up. That all these things, come to find out that we were in better shape, even though I felt we weren't. We were in better shape than a lot of people were. Um, and I didn't feel that I didn't understand even when I first started into it, a positive mindset for money and a negative mindset. I grew up with it's not spiritual to be wealthy or rich,
right,
especially not
right.
rich. One thing to be
Yes.
wealthy, but
Yeah,
not rich. My well-meaning
right.
grandparents would say that to me. My mother, I come from a family of 12 children. We had nothing. for a long, 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 long time. And I mean, I was at the house at the point when dad was starting to really do well. But he, interestingly, he had a very positive mindset. He wasn't the one that would say, money doesn't grow on trees. Do you think I'm Rockefeller? My mom had all the
Yeah.
sayings
Well, to the
whatsoever.
point, but
And
to the
she was
point
the
that it's
one
a
that was
mindset.
around. Yeah,
Yeah,
all the time.
because they had the
Never got
same things.
money.
Yeah, they had the same things, but they both felt differently about it. So it's just really a mindset. So a mindset cards where you can shift your perception of things, of what you
Mhm.
do have and be grateful in the moment and all those things,
Yeah.
that is a tool that is so useful if someone's doing that over time to change the
Yes.
way their perception, you know, and that's the way they work.
Yeah, but the most important part that we need to do with the mindset or anything is taking action. Even if it's a small little action per
Right.
day, it
Yeah.
builds up and builds up
Yeah.
um our momentum to get other things done, to tackle something else,
Yeah.
to even think, "Oh, it's possible." Like when I
Yeah.
someone asked me not to a couple of years ago now, "We want you to write your badass story, the top 20 things," or something like that, badass. Well, now when I grew up, badass was if you were a badass, that was a bad thing. It's not today, a different perception. And so they wanted us to write down some things that we had accomplished. And I was like, "Oh, this was quite the eye-opening for me." And I was to videotape it and post it on Facebook. Now, I attempted to do it at that time, do it live, but it didn't work. So I just taped it and put it up. And the comments, I was one, I was shocked that anybody read it. And two, the comments that they said and was like, "Wow, you've done this." And I thought, it was just the top, I don't know if it was top 10 or top 20. I thought, I didn't even get into some of the things, and we didn't tell how we did it or why we did it, because our why is the
Right.
biggest factor in what we
Yeah.
do and accomplishing different things, which
Right.
I didn't even know that. Like my idea years ago doing goals, and you must deal with this with people, especially with setting the cards up and deciding, is what is your goals on all of this? I was taught the SMART goals.
Mhm. Mhm.
A few years ago, I was taught quite differently with goals. Not that you can't have the SMART goals, but I think even beyond. And when I think of some things that I did, I remember one time I asked my husband, I said, "I'm going to go for this contest." I said, "It'll take us to Hollywood, California. Are you interested in going? Do you want to come with me? All expenses paid." He looked at me and he was like, "Yeah, okay." Well, I worked my butt off and I accomplished not one trip, but two, because it was
Mhm.
twice as much work for him to come. Well, when it come time to go, guess what? He said, "Well, I didn't really
I
want
never
to go." And I said, "But I asked you." And he said, "But I didn't think you could do it." I said, "Thanks for the
Wow.
confidence." It was a
Yeah.
really big goal for all of the flight, the hotels in
Yeah.
Hollywood to be paid for,
Wow.
and he didn't think I could do it. That's why he said yes, because he
Oh
just
my god.
thought I was so upset with him. Well, he ended up
Okay.
coming on the trip with me.
Oh my
However,
goodness.
he had a really good time.
Well, that's like one of those things that really remains a story that you tell, right? And when, someone says yes because they just to keep you quiet and they know you're not gonna do it, but
Yeah, he probably wanted me to
that's
stop
funny.
talking because I was all excited
Yeah,
about it.
that's so funny. That's funny.
But I've had
Wow.
many things like that, and they would not be normal things that you would do in your SMART goals because they were out there for us. I mean, when we
Right,
went to
right, right.
Hollywood last time, it
Yeah.
was in the 90s, back in the 90s, the first time we went. So now I say to him when I asked him if I do something, if he wants to be part of it, I remind him about Hollywood.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. So good.
Mm.
So good.
Ah, goodness.
Yeah.
Is there anything else do you want to tell a little bit more detail about how long you've been doing the card deck?
Yeah, so this is, it's about 15 years now,
Wow.
but you had said something about, I'm definitely like a born entrepreneur.
Mhm.
because I at one point, like, right after high school, I was like, "Oh, I don't really know what I wanna do," and I decided, "I'm gonna get a job in New York City," and I walked into an office, and I was, sitting in a desk under fluorescent lights, and I'm like, "Oh, no, there's no way I could do this every single day. I'm not gonna there's no way. I don't wanna do this. I'm not doing this." And so, it was like, I just like, that was it for me. I was like, "No, I'm not the job person. I am not good at working for anyone else," because, I also had the kind of mindset where it's like, "No, this is stupid. Why do I have to sit here all day if I'm done already after 2 hours? I have to just wait 8 hours before I can leave?" It's like, not gonna do it. And so I just was always just creating opportunity, creating businesses, and I had calligraphy businesses and, I designed clothing, children's hats, children's coats, handbags, purses, women's clothing,
Mhm.
and then, journals, and then onto the card decks, which I've been doing for, quite a while now, and I just really love the part of it that I love well, I just love creating products, but I
Mhm.
love also seeing someone really blossom from digging deep into their creativity, where when
Oh,
they
I
come and
would
they
s
tell me,
yeah.
"I couldn't do it. I can't do it. I'm not that creative," and, um, that part, when I really hold them like, I've learned like, I know when people are full of it, which is most people, because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you are s of course you're creative. We're all creative." And there's a
It's
way. There's a way. If you want a project, there's a way, and it's gonna be gorgeous. And I just make them play, and then all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh my god, I didn't know I could do this." So that's kind of magic. That's
Oh,
the
wow.
magic that, you know, um, that's the magic that comes from it. It's just not you creating it for your clients, but
Mhm.
it's you also, growing yourself in the process, which
Oh,
is
I
just
can I can
wonderful.
just so imagine, because at first I was like, "Well, I have to wait till I get other things done," and as you know, we've got some big projects going on. And I thought, "Boy, there could be this could be quite time consuming because you're gonna go in and delve into other things." But I bet you when people do that, it helps them create other things in their businesses in addition
Yeah.
because 'cause they've
I'm
gotten
glad that
clear.
I'm so glad you brought that up too, because that is true. Where a person because it makes you because of the limited real estate, you've gotta get
Mhm.
really clear on what's important. What is the system? What's that thing you're teaching that's so valuable and so important
Mhm.
that you get so very clear that by the time you're so clear on what you're doing, then you can span back out. And so many, many people, almost everyone, will take their card deck and then they'll have a course from it, or they'll have some kind of workshop from it, or they're teaching something because it's a teaching tool. So it makes sense that
Mhm.
there would be something blossoming that you would want to teach right from that. So that's kind of how it kind of is like this. I call it the seed that kind of grows your business
Mm,
because it is that thing that just is ever opening doors and ever expanding, what you do. And when you have a product, there's a lot of confidence that goes along with that. It's like,
mhm.
people kind of take you seriously. They're like,
Well,
"Well, she wouldn't have wasted her time creating these products if she wasn't seriously and she didn't know her shit, and she's not an expert." Am I allowed to say that word?
absolutely. I know myself
Yeah.
for I wrote in 3 collaborative books, and I have more. I could have probably done 100 in the last couple of years. But there was a limit to that because my goal is to do one and do a course with it and because on the
Mhm.
nonprofit, that's what I want to do is teach people not only about their finances, but the mindset and passive income stream. And I thought, what better way? I thought if I wrote in one and I could say I'm an Amazon bestseller, honest to goodness, that was all that I was hoping for. Well, we got much more than that. So I'm able to put that on I'll be able to put that on the book. So it give
Yeah,
them a little bit more credence. But it doesn't matter for the doors that has opened for me to say I'm an author.
right.
It didn't
Exactly.
even matter what I sold in it, and it was
Right.
a group book, groups that I did it
Yeah,
with. That didn't
yeah,
matter. It has opened
right.
doors for me and
Yeah.
gave me more credibility than my 25
Mhm.
years as a certified financial planner. which blows
I
my
know.
mind.
It's amazing, but it's also, it's just because it's like you did that thing that it does take time. It does take time and it takes a commitment.
Mm,
And so you again, you're like proving that, you have the expertise in that field and that you took the time to create something that's going to really help everyone.
yeah. I'm just gonna ask Colleen is saying hello here. Colleen, do you have any questions for Rosie about her card deck? Please, take a time and type it in. So happy to have her here. And Rosie's we've got a little bonus gift for people today that,
Yeah.
she has. I'll let you tell what you have for a little gift.
Yeah, so you could see it up there and it's at the
Yeah.
button over there. And it is over 250 ideas for your card deck. So, when we first got on the call here, you were like, "Oh, but I know tarot and I know, which is most people. I know tarot, I
Mhm.
know oracle cards, I know
Yeah.
angel cards, I know all that." But this was a compilation of all different kinds of ideas in different categories that you could possibly do. But I will so please, it's your gift for free. Um, I will say that I have never had someone in front of me where I couldn't come up with an idea for a very impactful, useful, and fun, you know, card deck for them
Mm.
because there's just so many and it always here's the thing. I've had hundreds and hundreds of people come through my course and I've never had anyone do the same thing, which to
Oh,
me
cool.
is amazing because there's so many different parameters to it that you know, it's always different and always so magical and, you know, in its own special right and representative of the person and what they're teaching and really
Mhm.
special.
Well,
So,
I would imagine it's like giving somebody, a piece of a canvas and paint, and
pretty much
everybody
it.
is to paint all the fruit, but they all look
Yeah,
different.
that's right. All look different.
Mm.
So,
Oh,
really,
wow.
really cool.
What something I liked it that you had told me, you have different ways to help people do it. Because sometimes some people are running a big business, but they think,
Yeah,
"Oh, this would be cute," that
right.
you can collaborate with them and you can actually
Yeah,
they give you the information and you actually help. There's different ways they do it themselves or do it
yeah,
with you.
yeah. So, my creative services span from, that person that you're talking about that's like, love the idea, but there's no way I'm ever gonna get to it. I just want someone
Mhm,
to do it for me. Here's my course or here's my book. Just kind of curate my content, pick out the what you think is the most important, and after a conversation and after going through your content, then I create your deck for you. So that's my done for you services.
mhm,
And then there's and that's like a full on, full spectrum, everything bells and whistles. And then I have created courses. So I have a course for the printed version of your deck, a course for the digital version of your deck. I have a course for how to sell your deck, which is my next upcoming thing. It's going to be actually a challenge for people that have made cards with me to sell them.
mhm,
And so I kind of fill in every spot. I have art courses before if you're like, oh, I want to just play with the art first before I dive into the course. So I've kind of what I've done over the last years is just create every single aspect of if you want a card deck, I'm your card deck person.
mhm.
And I like to tell people that you can see I have my crown back here and I have myself the queen of card deck. So I have my queen, my wand, my crown. But the reason that I can call myself the queen is like I say I've made every mistake possible that there is in a card deck. And so because of that, I can help you not make those mistakes that are costly and timely
Mm.
and annoying. So,
It
there's
it is
all of
so
that.
true. When
Yeah,
you're doing
yeah,
something unique and different,
totally.
there's always things to learn. Now, Colleen
You're
asked a
right.
question here, and I think I might know the answer, but I'm gonna let you tell it. She's asking, "Is there gamification involved with the cards?" Probably
Yeah,
not the paper
absolutely.
one, but there certainly is maybe in the digital
Well, even,
format.
yeah, so in both ways, if you think of it, there absolutely can be, and there's so many different ways, and one of the things I do, and so this will be for you if you're even thinking about a card deck, you're gonna have to know the end result. You wanna know the journey that you're taking them on.
Mhm,
So, of course, when we inspire people to have fun, they're gonna go use the cards more often. So there could be a game. There could be like some cards are numbered, so you have to finish and something happens at the end. If you're doing the digital deck, there's lots of different ways to do it. And there's also card challenges and things like that. I just did a challenge with someone who made a deck with me, and it was his deck was on video, showing up on
Mhm.
video, and it was 30 days of YouTube shorts. So posting a YouTube video every day for
Oh.
30 days. And we gave away prizes. And whoever posted for the 30 days won, different things.
Mhm.
So, yeah, there's all kinds of things that you can do, which is one of the things why I say it's such a good addition to people's courses and stuff like that, because when people buy you, I don't know if you know this, Colleen, but it's like a bad, like, it's not a good statistic, the amount
Hmm.
of people that finish a course. Because I'm pretty much anyone that's
Oh,
listening, raise your hand if you have lots of courses that you bought and you were gonna get
both
to one
hands.
day. And, ugh, and so the number is 92% of people that
Mhm. Oh,
do not
that's
finish your course.
heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking because you know how much work goes into creating a course and your desire to, like, help people, and if they're not gonna,
Mhm.
watch the modules, then, like, they're not learning. So,
Mhm.
a card deck with your course is like that little bit of, like, "Okay, what card are you on?" Or, "Okay, if you get to this," or, "Okay, if this, this pile and that pile," like, you can move people along a process in a more fun way.
Mhm.
And we're all looking for fun. And so if we can provide fun for people, that's just a little bit out of like the overwhelm and the frustration and the, oh my God, my to-do list and all of that crap that we have on us now. That's that's an awesome thing to do. So
Mhm.
yes, Colleen, the answer is yes.
And you even added more ways to do the gamification that I would have even thought of to make it
Yeah.
more interactive. No, I really, I look forward to seeing more. Colleen said, "Not sure I've ever finished a course. That's why I create my fall in love with follow-up program. So we do it together in a fun
Yeah.
way. Like
And that's
you meet
exactly.
in class in a room and
Yeah.
everybody has their project to do, and so the support that you get from her is that you have the accountability,
Right. To keep
because
showing up
that
and keep
really
working.
makes it. I think people, they said you have a close to a 70% chance of finishing your course if you have
Yeah.
accountability. Colleen probably
Yeah.
knows the number better than I
Yeah.
do, but I think I've
And
seen
but
that
one of the
before.
things in my course, I do give people, that challenge to get an accountability partner, and I will tell you those
Mhm.
people that have an accountability partner, first of all, they become best friends. It's always, like, so amazing to me. And they
Colleen's one
finish,
of mine.
and they finish. So, like, that accountability system, that's a golden thing because, I mean, left to our own devices, we put everything else before ourselves, right?
Mhm. It's
So,
so true. Unfortunately, well, I say that I've learned in the last few years that in order, the old saying, you can't give from an empty cup. So I need to fill myself up more first, that I can do more by looking after
absolutely.
myself. But
Yeah.
I can remember, like you were taught, like you're the mother, you're the last one to get fed, you're the last one to receive something as a gift. You pass it, oh, no, no, everybody else first. I was always a great giver. I did not realize I wasn't a good receiver.
Mm,
I wasn't
mm,
valuing myself enough, and we
yeah.
need to all do that. More so women, I believe, than men, but men are a lot of, there's many of them that'll just say, "No, no, you just do whatever you want.
It
It's
sounds like
okay.
a
I'm
card deck.
good."
It sounds like I hate to say it, and I don't hate to say it. I love to say it. Literally, it sounds like a card deck to me.
No kidding.
Helping people.
There's a reason I call one of my groups "Ask for the Money," because I was afraid to ask for the money.
I love that as the name of a card deck.
Mm,
Don't tell anybody.
there,
Whoever's
we
watching.
already know it's in the planning, so don't let anybody
I
use
think
that.
that's such a great name. Ask for the
Mm,
money because that's what the biggest fear of people, right? To charge, to ask, to,
Yeah,
get
you
paid
it's
for
not,
things.
it's that's not a good thing. Don't be so
Yeah.
selfish. Who do you think you
Yeah,
are?
and I have a very interesting okay, so I'm kind of like, I'm a New Yorker transplanted in New Jersey, so I have the New Jersey attitude, the New York attitude, so I'm pretty direct about things, and I
Yes.
like to say that, there's like like, I kind of tell people, "This is the minimum that you're allowed to sell your deck for," because
Oh, okay.
there's value in it, like, you cannot don't go selling your deck for, like, a couple dollars, no. No,
Mhm.
no, no. So, I set the standards and the bar, because it's like if you're creating excellence and you're creating an excellent product,
Mhm.
you are doing excellent service and you get excellent pay, right?
Ah,
So that's kind
good for
of the
you.
philosophy around, you being really confident in what you've created and proud to sell it
Mhm.
because you know that it's really helping the person and it's what they need.
Oh,
So,
it's wonderful. Now, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions before we finish
mhm.
off here today.
Yeah.
One, who inspires you the most right now?
You know what? Today is my daughter's 34th birthday. And I was thinking about her this morning when I wrote a little note. And I will say that since that girl came to this earth, she has inspired me. And in her, she just became a mother. And in
Mm.
her very amazing wisdom for such a young person, she inspires me with awe and wonder every single day as I watch her. So
Oh,
I'm going to say
how
my daughter.
sweet is that? I
Yeah.
love it. And happy birthday to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, then my last question for you is would you like to share with us your favorite piece of wisdom? Something that you live by, something that you feel motivates you, inspires you? Oh, she's
Well,
got it ready. And see, I don't
you know
ask
what?
people this ahead of time.
I do because I have this deck of cards here that I created, and I created this deck of cards from a woman who writes these beautiful affirmations. And I've been
Mhm.
working with these affirmations for years, and I put them aside and I forgot about them, and then recently they came back into my world, and I'm like, "Okay, I love these affirmations are so musical to me, and so they've helped me so much just reading them every day." And so I will say that my philosophy is that just to know that anything is possible if you believe it is. And then one
Mhm.
of my favorite affirmations from it's Florence Scovel Shinn is unexpected doors fly open, unexpected channels are free, and endless avalanches of abundance are poured out upon me under grace in perfect ways.
Oh, how lovely. I thank you so much, Rosie, for taking the time to come in
Thank
here and share your
you.
wisdom, your inspiration to us on Be Connected here. We like to say, don't just supersize your group, monetize it. Check it out if you'd like to find out a little bit more about that. If you'd like to find out a little bit more about what I do, you can click on one of the left hand links. The center one is for Rosie to connect on her website, and you'll get that in the recording. So, and get her 250 ideas because it might spark some other things in the possibilities of creating something new and exciting.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Thank you,
I'd like
Lori.
to say have a great day and a better tomorrow.